it's me, MJ Fangirl, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the time that I saw Michael Jackson live in concert. Stay tuned, this is now MJ Fangirl TV. Girl, you got So for those of you that may be new to the channel, my name is MJ Fangirl and I make videos all about the Michael Jackson fandom, and I talk about cool things that sometimes I think as MJ fans we just gloss over. I also feature lots of different travel and Michael Jackson event related vlogs, so if you're interested, make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below and join the family. So let's get into this story. I just want you guys to know that I am so grateful for this opportunity. I know that this is something that a lot of fans have dreamt of and never had the chance to do, so I am super grateful, and you know, I thank the heavens above every day that I was able to see Michael Jackson live, because this was something that I dreamed about as a kid and for such a long time. Okay guys, so let's go back into time. In middle school I was a big fan of like the Jacksons and the Jackson 5, and one of the ways that this concert was promoted was as, you know, the reunion of the Jacksons together, because it had been years, right, since Michael had performed together on stage with his brothers. I think it might have even been since the Victory Tour that they hadn't performed together. If somebody knows, leave me a comment down below. I'm not sure, but I know that that was one of the big reasons that they had given on the radio promos that anyone should go to this show. So of course, you know, I was down with it. I was in my freshman year of high school. So, you know, it was me, my father, my uncle, and my little sister that decided to go as a group of us together. And I remember getting tickets was like the most difficult thing. If you think getting tickets is bad now, you should have been back in the dial-up ages. So in 2001, we didn't have like that fast internet that we have now. We had to use dial-up, so it had to connect to like your house phone, and the AOL man would be running. I don't know, maybe I'll insert a GIF or something. Some of you guys know what I'm talking about, but it was slow. I remember thinking that we didn't get them because with the Ticketmaster, it's kind of like when you buy like a limited edition item, you're just pressing and you don't know if you got it or not. And for a few minutes we were like, wow, we didn't get them, you know, because we kept going on and it was saying sold out. And lo and behold, there was an email in my dad's inbox and we got 4 tickets. Now back in that time, you just selected like best seat or whatever. You couldn't, they didn't have like the interactive map and all that stuff as they do now. And anyway, I think we were just trying to buy them. So we didn't have the best seats, but I'm going to show you my ticket stub, which of course I saved. As you can see. So I believe that this just says, it shows you like the seats and how far away I was, and the tickets were only like 50 bucks. Like, I was really far in the back, guys. And I don't have any shame about saying how far back I was. Like, I was far back. Like, if you turn around, the popcorn stand and the bathroom was right there. But it didn't matter to me because I was in the house, okay? That was all that mattered. And I remember coming back from school. Again, it was a school day, rushed back from school, put my book bag down. We got in the car, hopped into onto the road to get to Madison Square Garden, and it was crazy. Like, I remember seeing like a lot of people in like Billie Jean jackets and all that crazy stuff, but I was so young that I just went probably in like whatever I wore to school that day, which was fine. I remember picking up a flyer on the ground of it had Michael Jackson on it, and I don't really remember what it was, but I just remember picking something up and being like, oh my gosh, I found something cool. And yeah, we got to the show. It was, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, it was surreal for me because first of all, our seats were kind of like toward the back of the stage. The seats were probably seats that they had added in after tickets had already sold out. So I was like diagonal towards the back of the stage, but I got to see some really cool, it was a really cool, interesting vantage point to see Michael Jackson from. I remember being there and just being so anxious for the show to finally start, because if you guys have seen this, it has like so many artists, probably 20 performances or something before Michael comes on. You had 2 different sets of performances each night. I know there was this show September 7th, and then there was my show, which was September 10th. You had like Whitney Houston and Britney Spears and Usher and Liza Minnelli and I don't even know, guys. Honestly, Shaggy, Destiny's Child, whatever. I was not paying attention to any of that. I was just like on pins and needles, just waiting for Michael to come out. And I remember that there was this one clip that they showed at the show, and I was just mind blown. That's when I fell in love with montages. They showed this montage about how Michael Jackson dances, and I thought that that was just the coolest thing.
Did you hear what I said?
You ain't nothing! That's the way it goes there.
Since he was 5 years old, one fact has been undeniable. No one moves like Michael Jackson. Inspired by the grace of Fred Astaire and the energy of James Brown, Michael moves with flawless precision. But it was in 1982 that Michael revolutionized dance forever, debuting the moonwalk on the Motown 25 TV special. As if floating on air, Michael redefined the possibilities of physical expression. By the 1988 release of Bad, his 3rd solo album, Michael's performing had become legendary, as seen in his barrage of award-winning videos. And whether on a video set or on stage before 50,000 fans, Michael sets his poetry to motion, dancing for the pure excitement of being alive in the moment.
You've been hit by a smooth.
Michael's passion defies the laws of physics, and through the constant honing of his steps, he has earned a permanent place among his childhood idols.
So after like 3 hours, I think it was 2.5 or 3 hours, finally we got to see the Jacksons. The Jacksons came out. That show was amazing. I remember my dad and myself getting up from our seats and just going and running down to a different section, just so we could see the Jacksons from the front. And I remember seeing them perform Shake Your Body Down to the Ground, which I think was one of the last songs that they performed. But it was really cool. It was just such a great experience because I had never seen, this was my 2nd concert ever. Okay, so just to put that into perspective, the first concert I had seen was a year before, and I saw TLC. For those of you that don't know, they sing the song Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls and No Scrubs. And I love that group, but they weren't Michael Jackson. And for me, this was just like a totally overwhelming experience to see the Jacksons perform live. And yeah, so we ran back up because after the Jacksons went off, we knew that Michael was gonna come back. So went back upstairs, had some popcorn, chilled. I believe it was like 30 or 40 minutes before Michael came out. And I remember it was like 10:45 or 11. And we were just like, man, is Michael ever gonna come out? I mean, I was saying, is Michael ever going to come out? Because I was just like super impatient. And I remember my little sister was like, man, can we go home? You know, because she was 10, you guys, so she had sat through like all these kind of boring performances. And then Michael finally came out. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, there are things that I remember about that show that I don't even know if I can really fully articulate into words how emotionally impactful they were to me. It was just really cool to see Michael perform live on stage, and I know that this is not, by far, this is not like his best performance or anything in anyone's book, I don't think, but the thing that made it cool was that people were gathered from all over the world, other entertainers were on that stage in tribute to him, and then here he comes and he blows everyone away with how awesome he is, you know. And this was his 30th anniversary concert, so after 30 years of performing, he comes on and he does a performance like that. Even if people say that this wasn't his best performance, it was still amazing. And I just remember two things that stand out to me about that night. One of them was the fact that I was actually behind the stage watching The Way You Make Me Feel. So you know in the beginning when he does the silhouette and he's behind and he's kind of like behind like this big curtain or this big sheet. I actually saw him doing that dance from behind the sheet, which I don't think I've ever even seen on YouTube. Like, that was just a really, really cool experience for me, to see his body do the movements and not just the silhouette. I don't know, it's something that I have deep inside my memory bank. And another thing that I loved was the performance of You Rock My World. It was a really, really amazing experience, you guys, and it's hard for me to explain because, you know, I think a lot of it was overshadowed by the next day. The next day was September 11th, 2001, the terror attacks on the World Trade Center here in New York City, and I just remember being on top of the world the night before, and the next morning I went to school and I was so excited to tell all of my friends and things that I had seen Michael Jackson in concert. I was so excited to see what the outcome was going to be. I wanted to see what the news outlets were going to say and what the newspapers were going to be saying, and like how his album would do, and like I thought Michael Jackson was going to be back, you know, I thought it was going to be this big thing, and then it turns out that this terror attack happens, and I was actually in science class, and there was this big window, and I went to school not anywhere close to the World Trade Center, but you know, I could see it from the window. So we had just, you know, as kids we had seen, wow, that's smoke. And I remember in the next period they made an announcement on the loudspeaker, loudspeaker of the school, and they just said that there had been a terror attack at the World Trade Center. And I remember that my teacher, my math teacher, was crying because her brother worked there, and it was just scary, you know. At that time they had closed, so I think at that time, yeah, they had closed bridges, tunnels, buses, subways, nothing was working. I remember not even knowing how I was gonna get home that day, and like, I have to be honest with you guys, I was 14, so I didn't really understand the World Trade Center. I didn't understand terror attack. Like, I was very, very, I'm not gonna say naive, but I was very young, and I was very detached from what a terror attack was. I didn't really understand it, and I remember that my dad had to come and pick me up from school, and I remember saying to him, like, what do you think they're gonna say about Michael Jackson's show or whatever? Do you think it's gonna overshadow or whatever? And he was just like, yeah, they're not gonna be talking about this Michael Jackson show anymore because this is a serious thing. And yeah, I just remember being so, you know, in one instance I was like, oh man, no one's gonna care about the Michael Jackson thing, but then in the other instance I was, you know, devastated. I was just like, what is going on? You know, and the next mornings after that, there were no school, I think, for the next 2 days, and I remember waking up to ashes, like soot almost, on my doorstep in the morning, and just like newspaper and just like garbage, really. It just smelled like garbage and like fire, and it was just crazy because I know that it was just such a devastating and heartbreaking time for like the world, but especially for New Yorkers. And no, I hate to leave, you know, I don't want to leave this on a dark note, but I did want to let you guys know that it was, you know, it was a conflicting time for me because I wanted to be excited about having seen Michael live, but then again, you know, I'm a New Yorker and my family, you know, born and raised, all of us in New York City, so it was a little bit tough for the next those next events to unfold and to be witness to some of that. But yeah, like that was my story of seeing Michael Jackson live. I will say that seeing Michael Jackson live was something that I had never thought that I'd be able to do. I had always hoped that I'd be able to do it again after I saw him in Madison Square Garden, because it's just really an exhilarating feeling to be in the same arena as him. You know, I left thinking like, I breathe the same air as Michael Jackson, which sounds so silly, but it's really crazy how connected you feel to Michael when he's on the stage. Like, nothing else matters. You just feel like you've got that tunnel vision on him when he's performing, and he does that. Like, he really knows how to take a hold of an audience, and not only as a whole, but like each and every person that's in the audience. And I think that just makes him the greatest entertainer that has ever lived. After Michael Jackson passed away, I have to be honest with you guys, I could not watch this concert live. I remember when he passed away that they were showing this concert all the time. I don't know what it was about, but like on BET and TV1, those are some networks that we have here in America, and they were showing those concerts, that concert, like every day, and I just couldn't take it, you guys. I could not watch it without becoming like overwhelmed with like just emotion. And I was just, you know, because it reminded me of him being alive, and the day that he was alive, that I was in his presence. It reminded me of that, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like emotionally it was just tough for me to watch. But now, years later, I can watch back with fond memories, and regardless of what anyone says about the 30th anniversary shows and how it compares to any of his other performances, I don't care. I was there, and I want you guys to know something. Michael Jackson performs at such a high level that no matter what he did on that stage and how it compared to the Bad Tour, Dangerous, or anything else he did in his career, he was still better than anything else I saw that night. If you guys have a chance, definitely check out the 30th anniversary show. I'm gonna link it down below for those of you that haven't seen it, because it's definitely something that you'll want to watch, at least the Jacksons and the Michael Jackson solo performances. And let me know in the comments, have you seen Michael Jackson live? If so, what was your experience like? Let's get a discussion going in the comments section. And until next time, I will talk to you guys soon. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff, and subscribe if you haven't already, because we're going to keep coming back with these awesome videos. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Don't just stay with me until the morning sun. Promise you now that the dawn will be different. Night if you